TunePocket.com. TunePocket.com.
Good day. Welcome to the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Now let's get right to it. So I want to continue the discussion on Madison Holleran and mental health. Okay. So she died by suicide. Okay. And they created a foundation, and they created a act in her name. Okay. The Madison Holleran Prevention Act that provides students around the clock access to mental health services. Okay, in New Jersey. And so she was I mentioned the last video, she was a two sport athlete in college. Excuse me. Ooh. She was a two sport athlete in high school, soccer and track. No, she ran track just to primarily stay in shape for soccer, but she was pretty damn good at track as well. And her times were getting faster and faster to the point where she accepted a track scholarship to Penn. To Penn. And I mentioned that her sister, Ashley, was not happy at Penn State. Then Ashley transferred to Alabama, and she was all good. Okay. And her sister Ashley used to come home every weekend from Penn State, and when she walked inside the house, she felt like herself again. Okay. And so she ended up she ended up transferring to Alabama, and she felt good at Alabama. When Madison went to college, she wasn't enjoying track. Her parents and family members noticed that she looked dull. She looked less radiant. She still had, and she had an excellent work ethic, but it was one track meet she was at, and it was a particularly unusual hot day in November, and she actually collapsed after finishing the race. Okay. And her parents, family also noticed the erosion of her confidence. Okay. So she took a picture for her Instagram with her mom, and her mom looked at her Instagram, and when her mom looked at her Instagram, she noticed that she was so happy in all of her pictures. And Madison responded to that by saying, "Mom, it's just a picture." Yeah. And so I mentioned that her family began to notice an erosion in her confidence, that Madison wasn't okay with being good. She would study for her days at Penn. She would study for days, get have the answers right, and she would have no clue where she was. I think the book said that she was being graded on a curve when she was at Penn. And so I noticed that her sister Ashley was how good her sister Ashley felt when she came home every weekend from her couple of years at Penn State. She walked into the house and she felt happy and carefree. And so when Madison came home, I believe around Thanksgiving, she walked into the house, she still felt unhappy. Okay. She still felt unhappy. Um, and it's just so heart wrenching to read her story. It's just so heart wrenching to read her story. Um, in college, it's a lot more demanding. Okay, you're just not a track runner. It's also cross country too. Okay, so she would get up early for practice. Um, then she would go to class feeling zapped of energy, and she had anxiety about how she would make it through the noon practice. Okay, and so there was unease, there was anxiety that was morphing into something else, and it's just like, man, it's just like a depression monster was inside her brain. Okay, it's like a depression monster was inside her brain. And I wrote his quote down too. When you're stuck in the valley, it's different to when you're stuck in the valley. It's difficult to see that perhaps some peaks are sharper and higher and more dangerous than others. Okay. And so these thoughts just kept tugging away at her consciousness. And if she let, they were just like knocking at her brain, and in a backward way, the worst thoughts calmed her. Okay, and so this just kept going on and on and on and on, and there was a more deadly solution that could be thought of. That was suicide. Okay. And I read in the book, it said there were some days that she didn't even know who she was talking to. And I read that who owned this new voice inside of her. That's scary as hell. That's scary as hell. Okay. That's scary as hell when you can't silence that voice in your head. Okay. And it's just telling you terrible things. Okay. That's scary as hell. Okay. It's scary and it's heart wrenching. Okay. And I'm reading this and my heart is just wrenching. My heart is just wrenching with every word I read. It's like, wow. She was in such a bad place, man. Because something happened after she went into college. Something happened to her after she went to college. Something just flipped when she went into college because she was not happy. Okay. She was not happy one iota. Okay. And so, the prospect of a suicide crossed her mind. Okay. And when you have those thoughts, okay, because I also wrote his quote down too from the book. Sometimes there's like a mental fire in your brain. Okay. There's like a mental fire going on in your brain. Okay. And it's like knowing there's a secret escape route in case of the room caught fire. Okay. So this room in your brain caught fire and then the fire spread. Okay. And the fire just spread. Now you have a full-blown mental blaze. Okay. And the escape route would be suicide. Okay. And yeah, it's just so heart wrenching, man. It's really heart wrenching. And this is what people who deal with mental health issues go through every day. This is what people with mental health issues go through every day. They have to deal with these excruciating thoughts that they have to fight off 24/7. 24/7. Because it can pop up at any time. These thoughts or feelings can pop up at any time, okay? And this is the type of stuff we deal with every day. And sometimes our brain convinces us to not get help. Okay? And like I said, you have a mental fire, you take the escape route, which is considered suicide. Okay? And it's just heart wrenching knowing what she was going through. It's just heart wrenching reading what he was going through. Very heart wrenching. And again, this is what people with mental health issues go through every day. Okay, this is what people with mental health issues go through every day. And so this is why I constantly stress 988. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I consistently stress 988. Okay. So yeah. Your life is worth a phone call. Okay. Your life is worth a phone call. Okay. Your life is worth a phone call. You are loved. You do matter. And you do matter to a lot of people, whether you realize it or not. Okay? You do matter. And you are loved. You may not realize it, but you are. All right. That's it. That's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. May God bless you all. Peace out. See y'all on the next one. Peace.